Good afternoon. We are continuing on working with that slope-intercept form. Today we are doing Co56. I can write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form given an equation in standard form. Remember, a few objectives ago I said, ooh, this when it's ax plus by equals c, I think is how it goes, that is the standard form. That's going to come up later. It's coming up today, that standard form. So we're still working with slope-intercept form, reworking it in a different way. So just like there are many ways to describe a warm day, it could be hot, it could be sunny, it could be summery, it could be caliente. There are many ways to describe the graph of a line. One way is slope-intercept form. Who can tell me what slope-intercept form is? Laurel. Y equals mx plus b. Another way is that standard form. So slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b. Standard form, remember I said it was ax plus by equals c. We're going to see how we can move around to make them be the same thing. Okay, so we're going to use that standard form, move things around so it looks like the slope-intercept form. So what do you notice about the location of the x and the y? When it's the slope-intercept form, what do we notice about the x and the y? Elliot?
The y goes before this.
Give me a little bit more. Madeline? Think about the equation all together. Where do we notice the x and the y?
Colton, on different sides of the equation.
Different sides of the equal sign. So they are on opposite sides of the equal sign. Versus where are they in the standard form? Elliot?
On the same side.
They're on the same side of the equal sign. But notice how they both have the x and the y. So we can use what do you think we're going to be using to move things around? What do we use when we move things around that equal sign? Colton?
Opposite operations.
Opposite operations, when we're moving to opposite sides of the equal sign. So we're going to see how opposite operations are going to play into factor. So steps to convert an equation from standard form to slope-intercept form. First step, we're going to move x, the x term. So when we say x term, it's those two pieces together. That's the term, that coefficient and the variable. Coefficient's the number, the variable is the letter, it's a term. So we're going to move the x term to the other side. Using opposite operations. Because when we go to the opposite side of the equal sign, we have to use opposite operations. Step 2 is divide every term by the coefficient to the y. So we need to know some vocab words here. So we know the letter is the variable. When there's a number in front of the variable, so we've got if we use that 6x, that letter is the variable. The number in front of it is the coefficient. When we have a number all by itself, so that 21, if that number is all by itself, we call it the constant. Okay, so if there's no variable connected to it, it's the constant. When we have a coefficient and a variable, we call that the term. So when it says the x term, it's the number and the variable. Those vocab words make sense. What happens when we have, I don't see one on this page, but if we just have the x, what is the coefficient?
Oh, 1.
Yeah, there's a 1 in front of it. We just don't see it. But every variable will have a coefficient. If we don't see it, we know that it's a 1. If we do see it, it's whatever number is there. So every number has a coefficient. Okay? Those parts make sense? Just want to make sure we're understanding these vocab words they're throwing at us. Bless you. So let's see how we do this. We all have this written out, can I erase? All right, so we're going to think about those two steps. First, we're going to use opposite operations to move the x over. That x term, we keep the coefficient with the variable, so we move both of it over. Then we have to divide by the coefficient to the y. We divide everything by it. So let's see what that means. We look at 6x plus 3y equals 21. What's my first step? Think about what it said number 1 was. What is that first step? Colton?
To move the x term to the other side,
Yeah.
using opposite operation.
So 6x, is that adding or subtracting? Elliot? Yeah, because we can't see the positive that's connected to it, but it's there. It's one of those invisible math things. We know that if it's just a number, that's a positive number. What does positive mean?
Subtract.
Yeah, positive means we're adding.
Yeah.
So we want to do the opposite of adding, right? So imagine that there's a positive sign there. That means it's adding 6x. So the opposite of adding 6x is we want to subtract 6x from both sides, right? So positive 6x minus 6x leaves us with just plus 3y. So when I bring that down to write it again, do I need to write plus 3y? No, because that means a positive 3y. We don't have to keep that plus there. We just say 3y. Now, can I say 21 minus 6x and call that 15x? 21 is a constant. There's no variable. 6x minus 6x has a variable. We can't combine them. They are two separate things. So what we do is we say it's 21 minus 6x. Now we want to make sure it looks like that slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So do I want that 6x at the end?
No.
No, I want it right after that equal sign. So I have 3y equals what? Madeline? So close. Madeline said 6x plus 21. Can anybody see what else has to happen? Clara?
Instead of plus, it should be minus.
Where?
Between x and 21.
Well, is 21 positive or negative?
Positive.
So do I want to make it minus 21?
No.
No, she was right. It's a plus 21 because that's a positive 21. So it would be plus 21. Victoria? It's going to be a negative 6x. Because that minus sign, we can't just drop off. That term is minus 6x. So it becomes negative 6x. We can't just drop off the minus sign. If we're moving it to the front of the equation, it becomes negative 6x. Okay? So what's my second step? So my first step, opposite operations, we moved that 6x over to the other side, doing opposite operations. What's my second step? Who can read the second step? Henry, what's the second step?
Divide every term by the coefficient of the y.
So we're going to divide every term. So our terms is everything in there. The variables, the constants, we're dividing everything. What am I going to divide by? What's the coefficient to the y? Ellie?
3.
The 3. Remember, the coefficient's the number in front of the variable. Our variable we're looking at is the y because we want to get down to just y equals. So we're going to divide all of these terms by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. What's negative 6 divided by 3? Victoria? Negative 2. I can't forget the x. Keep that x with it. So it's negative 2x. What is 21 divided by 3? Elliot? 7. So my slope-intercept form would be y equals negative 2x plus 7. Okay, let's do another one. 4x minus 5y equals 20. What's my first step? Henry?
Move x to the other side using opposite operation.
So how would I do that, Henry?
Since it's a positive 4, you need to subtract 4x from 4x. And minus 4x.
Yeah, I need to subtract 4x from both sides. So then I'm left with what?
Minus 5y is 1.
Minus 5y, right? Because I have to keep that minus. It's going to turn into a negative. So it's negative 5y equals. Now remember, I want to have that x term right after the equal sign. So minus 4x becomes negative 4x. It's a positive 20, so that becomes plus 20. How are we feeling about that? Is that making sense? What's my second step? Victoria? Divide everything by the coefficient to the y. What's the coefficient to the y, Victoria? Negative 5. So I'm going to divide all the terms by negative 5. What's negative 5 divided by negative 5?
0.
Nope.
I mean, no. Wait, 1?
1. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Number divided by itself gives us our 1. What's negative 4 divided by negative 5? Remember, we keep this as a slope. So I want to keep it as a fraction, no decimals. Keep it as a fraction. What is my fraction, Laurel?
8/10.
Why did we multiply it by 2? Or, oh, no, when you say 8/10, you put it as a decimal and then put it as a fraction and you ended up multiplying it by 2. You don't want to do that. Henry?
Is it 4/5?
It's a positive 4/5. So if over here, we could say 6 divided by 3 gave me a whole number, I can make it that whole number. Here, I can't divide 4 by 5 and get a whole number, so I keep it a fraction. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. We talked about that when we were working with slopes. If you have a slope that's a negative over a negative, you have to turn it into the positive. Does that make sense, Laurel? Okay, because if we did 4 divided by 5, we would get 0.8, which is 8/10, but then we have to simplify 8/10 back down to 4/5. So just leave it as the fraction. If you can simplify your fraction, simplify it, but we want to keep it as a fraction, as simple as we can get. Don't forget to carry down that x. Every year I have friends forget to carry down the x. Carry down the x. What is 20 divided by negative 5? Finley?
-4.
Negative 4. So that negative 4 becomes minus 4. Let's do one more. Negative 10x minus 3y equals negative 36. What's my first step? Elliot?
Add 10,
Add
10x.
10x. So it's a negative 10, so I need to add 10x to both sides. So negative plus the positive, that zeroes out. So I'm left with negative 3y. I'm going to put that plus 10x at the beginning because I want my x first. And then what do I put after it for the b? So that negative 36 becomes minus 36. Right, because that negative 6 with it turns into a minus sign. What's my second step? Ellie?
Divide all the terms by 3. Or by negative.
Yes. Divide every term by negative 3. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is a positive y. 10 divided by negative 3. Can I get a whole number out of that? Nope. Can I simplify 10 over 3 down at all? Nope. So it's going to be a negative 10/3 x. What's negative 36 divided by negative 3? Finley?
12.
It's a positive 12, so it's a plus 12. Show me your thumbs. How are we feeling? And it's okay to be like, I'm not sure. It's okay to say, ooh, you lost me. Okay, so I have some of us that are like, ooh, I'm not quite there yet. And that's okay. Let's keep going, okay? It says, remember to divide all terms by the coefficient to y, every single term. Sometimes I have people that forget to divide the constant, that number by itself, but for every one, you want to make sure you're dividing every single one by that coefficient to the y. Oftentimes the constant is forgotten. So we are going to rewrite the equations in slope-intercept form, then identify the slope and the y-intercept of the line. So we're going to think about those two steps that we have. We're going to remember we want it in our slope-intercept form. All right, who could walk me through this first equation? Colton,
You're gonna subtract 2x from 2x, and then subtract 2x from 7.
okay, so what does that leave me with?
7y equals 2x plus, wait, no. 2, yeah, plus 7.
What do we think about that, Joe? What do we have to do to fix it?
Negative 2x.
Oh, we forgot minus 2x means negative 2x. Don't forget the minus stays with the term. So it becomes negative. Keep me going, Colton.
Alright, and then you
Let's see.
divide all terms by 7.
So every single term, I'm gonna put that line under it so I don't forget the constant. Because that's the first thing people forget. So put your line under every one, and we're gonna write a 7 under every one. Okay, keep me going,
And
Colton.
then it goes to y equals negative 2 over 7 plus 1.
What do we think about that?
Nope.
Elliot raised his hand first. What did you notice?
2 over 7x.
Oh, you forgot the x, Golden. I said that's the biggest thing that people forget on the test. Mr. Schultz put in there, don't forget to divide the constant by the coefficient. I have way more friends forget to carry the x down. You have to remember every single piece of that y-intercept form. Don't forget the x. Seriously, most common thing I've seen on a test. All right, who wants to try the next one? Clara.
You subtract negative 5 from negative 5?
So if I subtract with the negative, what's the opposite of negative would be,
Positive.
which would be what operation? Think about what a positive sign looks like.
Addition.
Yeah. So if I have negative 5x, what's the opposite I want to write?
Add.
So I'm going to add 5x to both sides. So what am I left with for my new equation?
8y equals 5x plus 24.
What do we think? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Ooh, I see some thumbs up and thumbs down. What do you think is missing, Pam?
It's supposed to be a negative 5.
Is it?
Oh.
Because we have negative 5. The opposite of negative 5 is plus 5. Did you see something, Madeline, or is that what you were thinking?
Yeah.
So now let's check. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up. So she did that correct. What's the next step, Clara?
I'm going to divide everything by 8.
Every term I'm going to put my division line. Divide it by 8. Walk me through what my next equation is, Clara.
Y equals 5x plus 3.
Perfect. Now, I'm looking at our two answers that we've given so far, and I realize I forgot to follow the directions. What direction did I forget to follow, Finley?
Identify the slope of the y-intercept line.
So let's look back at this first one. Slope is the m. What is my slope? Finley?
Negative 2, 7.
The y-intercept is the b. What's my y-intercept, Elliot?
0, 1.
Yep, and we can just, at this point, we can just write that 1. So make sure you have your slope and your y-intercept written, M and D. So let's look at our next one. In the middle, what's my slope? Ellie?
5, 8,
And what's my b? Ellie?
3.
So make sure you're also putting the slope and the y-intercept. Okay? So it's not just the y-intercept, slope-intercept form. Put your slope and your y-intercept. Let's look at our next one. I'm just gonna erase so I have more room. Who wants to walk me through this one? Joe!
You're going to start by adding 3x to negative 3x to 12.
Okay, so what's my new equation?
Negative 3y equals 3x plus 12.
Show me your thumbs. Do you think this is right, or did we miss something? I see lots of thumbs up. Yep, that is right. What's next, Joe?
Divide all the terms by negative 3.
So put a line under every single term and put your negative 3. Do we get any gold stars for doing mental math on this? Nope, because life gets way more complicated. We're doing every step the way I'm doing it on this board. A lot of times I'll say, oh, there's lots of different ways to do math, and oh, you came up with it this way, and you came up with it that way. This is one of those times where I say, these are the steps, follow the steps, follow the steps, follow the steps. Okay. What is my next equation I'm going to write with that, Joe?
Y equals negative 1x minus 4.
Now, what would be the proper mathy way for me to write this? Joe?
Negative x
Yeah.
minus 4.
So instead of saying negative 1x, I would just say negative x minus 4. Because I don't have to put the 1 in front of a variable. If you do on the test, am I going to mark it wrong?
No.
No. Do we need to recognize what the proper math way is? Absolutely. Because you will see it on the test, you will see it on the math test that's coming up at the end of the month. We need to know that there's an invisible 1 there. So, good question. What would we put for our slope? Remember that slope is in a fraction form. Careful. Would it be just 1 over 1, Ellie?
Negative.
Negative 1 over 1. And what is my y-intercept? Oh,
Negative 4.
negative 4. Okay. Show me your thumbs. How are we feeling? We still shaky, or are we doing better? There's a couple of us that are still, I'm getting there. I'm going to give us time. I want you to do the bottom 3 by yourself. Let's look at our second page. This says rewrite the equations in slope-intercept form like we did on the top. Then we're going to graph it. That's why we need to know the slope and the y-intercept. That's why on the first page you had to write those out, because you need to know it to graph it. So let's look at this first one. I'm going to walk us through it quicker so we can get to the graphing part. So positive 2x, we want to subtract 2x. So that brings me y equals negative 2x plus 5. I don't have a coefficient in front, so do I have to do anything? No, I'm done. Whew, lucky us, that was an easy one. So now I need to know what my slope is, negative 2 over 1. I need to know my y-intercept is that 5, so I know it's 0, 5 for graphing, because the y-intercept is, x is always 0. So I know that's 0, 5 to graph it. So 0, 5 will put me here. I need to do that slope. -2 means I go down 2 over 1. So that second part, graph the equation, we've already done it. We're just combining it into this objective. Joe?
I was asking to draw a line, but I didn't see it.
Yep. So you need to connect the 2 points as a line. Henry?
Do you have to write the slope and, y-intercept for this part? I mean, this bracket.
I'm gonna say yes for the homework, because I want you to practice it and make sure you're doing your slope and the y-intercept correctly, so if you get it wrong, we can see where you went wrong. Okay? On the test, I will be looking for the slope-intercept form for the graph. Any other questions? Okay, so do those bottom 3 on the first page, then you're going to do the same thing on the back, and we're gonna add on graphing it, which we've already done. Okay? If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.